Welcome students. Today we are going to continue our last chapter, landforms, where we have studied about different types of landforms. In the last class, we have studied about fault mountains. So today we are going to cover relict, block and volcanic mountains in this class. Now let us know what is volcanic mountains. The mountains, which are formed in the form of tall conical or dome-shaped extrusions at the volcanic site by the accumulation of lava as dust and liquid mud ejected via a vent round of the mouth of the volcano in successive layers. Let me explain you in a very simple words. The volcanic mountains are formed due to the eruption of volcanoes and by the accumulation of volcanic material at the site. So there are two major causes of volcanic eruptions. According to geologist Professor McDonnell, states that the Earth's interior heat is the primary cause of volcanic eruption. And number two, according to the plate tectonic theory, the volcanic eruption occurs when two plates approach each other and collide. Now here are the important volcanoes of the world: the Vesuvius in Italy, the Mount Fujiyama in Japan, the Kilimanjaro in Africa, the Cotopaxi in Ecuador, the Barren Island in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. A large number of the volcanoes are found in the island of Eastern Asia, forming a ring along with the volcanoes of North and the South America, and this is known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now, the block mountains. The mountains, which are formed by the blocks of the Earth's crust or rock beds developed by the tensile force and faulting, are known as block mountains. Block mountains are also called fault block mountains since they are formed due to faulting. A fault is a well-defined crack along which the rock masses on either side have suffered relative displacement. Faulting. The movement of a part of the Earth's crust along a fault is known as faulting. And fault line, the line along which the displacement of the block of rock takes place, is called fault line. Some important characteristics of block mountains. A block mountain always has a flat top and steep sides. A horst or a block mountain is always associated with a rift valley or a carbon. The block mountains are not as high as the fault mountains. They are lower in height and do not cover extensive areas. Are the examples: the Great Basin Ranges in USA, Vosges in France, and Black Forest in Germany, Vindhyas and Satpuras in India. Residual or the relict mountains, which are formed by the process of erosion and denudation, by which soft rocks are worn down and the resistant rock masses are left standing still. Mountains known as erosional or residual or relict or denuded mountains. These mountains are formed by various erosive agencies acting through millions of years, may reduce mountains and plateaus to a low plane, but the harder and the more resistant ones survived against erosion, may be left standing as residual or relict mountains. For examples, the Aravallis and the Nilgiris in India, the mesas and the buttes of the USA. There are different types of relict mountains, namely butte, Inselberg and monadnocks. A butte is a residual hill formed by erosion of a mesa. After additional erosion from all sides, a mesa was further reduced to a smaller remnant flat summit called a butte. Inselberg is a German word. It means island mountains. Inselberg are outstanding rounded steep-sided residual hills. They are mainly formed of granite and gneiss and a remnant of original plateau which has been eroded away by wind action. Finally, the monadnocks, which are eroded and isolated remnants of resistant rock material appearing like mountains, are called monadnocks. after the Mount Monadnocks in New Hampshire in USA. Thus, all monadnocks may be called residual mountains. This is for today, student. See you in the next session with the remaining part of landforms. Thank you.